I want to call to order the meeting of the Public Safety Committee for December for Rutherford County. Good to see each and every one of you here this evening. We'll begin with the approval of our minutes from Vice Chairman Rather.
Thank you, Chairman Reed. I've reviewed the minutes of the last meeting, find them all to be in order, and move that they be approved as mailed.
Motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner McMurray and Serino. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, minutes have been approved. We haven't had anyone to call in on public comments, so we'll move right on. I have just received a message from Commissioner Beverly. He's stuck in traffic, but he is on his way and be with us. Haven't heard anything from Commissioner James, but everyone else is here, so we do have a quorum. We'll begin with our recovery court and Lachelle Ricketts. Good evening.
Here's the Recovery Court report for November. In our drug court, we have 52 current participants and 9 folks have graduated. In our DUI program, we have 43 in our evening and 24 in our day, which gives us a total of 67, and we had 5 people graduate. In our mental health court, we have a total of 60, and we didn't have any graduations in that program. And in our veterans court, we have a total of 15 and 1 person who graduated. That gives us a total of 194 current participants. We have 10 new participants started in November, 15 graduations, and 2 terminations. And that concludes our report.
Any questions on the report from Recovery Court? Commissioners?
Move to approve.
Second.
Had a motion to approve. Commissioner Rather, second from McMurray. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, your report has been approved. Thank you. Probation Report. Lisa Phillips. Good evening.
Right, for the month of November, we closed out 148 cases for 136 people. We had active reporting cases equaling 1,360 individuals. In our programs, we had 99 individuals. We had 26 people complete those programs, and we had 5 discharged unsuccessfully from their program. We were able to assist 10 individuals in our Olive Branch program, 6 of which were experiencing homelessness. 4 of those individuals had either recently been released or suffering from a hardship. We currently have 27 individuals in our 10 Rocks program. We have 3 individuals that are pending after their referrals, pending court dates to enter the program. With our expenditures and our difference in revenue for the month of November, that came out to $108,557.44. For the month of November, we turned over $13,599 in probation fees to be collected by the clerk's office on payment agreements. We had $5,278 in probation fees of those individuals that did not enter a payment agreement with the clerk's office. So far this fiscal year, we've turned over $78,007 to the clerk's office to be collected for probation fees on their payment agreement. And so far this fiscal year, we've had $26,215.95 in probation fees, and those individuals have not entered a payment agreement with the clerk's office. And as of last month, we had 10 individuals that had been deemed indigent by the court, and that would be my report.
Questions, comments concerning the report? Commissioners?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner McMurray. Second, Commissioner Serino. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Correction Work Center report. Superintendent Cope.
Evening. In your packet, you'll find the minutes for our County Corrections Partnership and Work Center board meeting from the December 11th meeting. Next is our work release program, still going well, no significant changes in that. Next is the yearly activity report, population staying about the same. Total trash collected on county state routes are as follows. County roads, county trash collected 7,720 pounds, and then on state routes we collected 879 bags. Monthly worker report shows a total combined savings of $80,576 using inmate labor. And you can see our CQI medical stats on the last page there, and that concludes my report.
Any questions? Comments?
Motion to approve.
Have the motion to approve. Have
Second.
A second. We have a second. Other comments or questions? Okay, Commissioner Oliver?
Hey, how are you?
Doing well, how are you?
Good. I was just noticing that you all received the Warden Exchange Certificate of Commissioning. That's a good thing, right?
We did. That has been a year-long process. Every week for the last year, I've met with, via Zoom, wardens from all over the world. I was the only one accepted from the state of Tennessee and the only one from a county facility in this group of wardens from all over, like I said, the world. And we completed it. Dr. Lockwood, who was over the Warden Exchange, came up from Florida a couple days, well, the day after Thanksgiving, and toured our facility and gave us the completion certificate. So we're very proud of that.
Now, is this something that will be, you know how institutions go through reaccreditation or anything like this? Is this something that you'll do again, or this is just an award that you'll just maintain?
It's really, it's not an accreditation. It's more of just it's more of just a class that has gone on, and communication between directors, and it's really just to say what are best practices, and you know, it's been a big topic has been transformational leadership. So yeah, it's been sometimes a challenge over the past year, going to that thing for at least once a week and putting some time away for that. But it's been worth it because we've really grown. My supervision staff especially has grown from it, and you know, and we'll be able to take that into the future, and you know, with succession planning and you know, leadership classes, and so it's good.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
To you and your staff.
I appreciate that.
Okay, any other questions? If not, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Your report has been accepted, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Juvenile Detention Report. Lynn Duke, good evening. I believe you have two reports, don't you?
Well, the report, so I included last month's report that did not get uploaded to the server in a timely manner, but that was the information that I reported on verbally last month. So
Right.
It's there for your viewing pleasure, but the active and updated month is for November. I will happily answer questions about last month, but I think we pretty much covered that last month. I don't know that there's anything particularly that stands out for the month of November. We did have a lot of STD testing, and the Positivity rate was pretty low, I felt, for the number of youth that we tested, so I was pleased with that. And then I did include the minutes from the board meeting at the end. Questions that you have?
Mr. Chair. Quick question. Has Madison County paid? I saw in the previous minutes that they had an outstanding balance, but I didn't see that sheet on the current month.
We received 10 checks yesterday, and I know they were going through them and getting them posted. I think that the only check that they did not receive was from a small county that rarely uses us, but I don't believe it was Madison. So I believe that that is the case, that we did receive that check.
Other questions?
As far as your employment opportunities are concerned, any updates?
I've got a young lady that has turned in her notice. We have 2 new hires that are training. I have a open corporal position because we finally were able to promote a sergeant, and I have a full-time male detention officer. Our gentleman that was on military leave has left us, though. He's a new patrol officer with so we at least don't have that temporary position anymore. It's now a full-time position. So that I'm hoping that that will make be more enticing for somebody when they hear the word temporary. That scares them off, but that's not the case anymore. So we're
Questions? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Second, Commissioner Beverly. Other questions? If not, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed, the report has been approved. Thank you. Emergency Services, Public Safety Report. Director Chris Clark. Good evening, sir.
Hopefully on your SharePoint you have November 17th through December 15th, our emergency service report. It's been actually kind of busy with different exercises from St. Thomas Rutherford that we provided an exercise for them, mass casualty drill to General Mills for anhydrous ammonia and some other areas, and several responses, including the fatality of a Laverne police officer last week. Also in our report on our communications center, we were unable to log all of the 911 calls collectively in a report. The data coming from our ECD 911 was incomplete, and hopefully we'll have that next month to the fullest. Do what?
My apologies. Was there like a technical issue or something?
No, it's just logging.
Just logging. Gotcha.
Report. Any questions?
I move to approve.
Motion approved. Commissioner Sereno.
Second.
Second, Commissioner McMurray. Further questions? Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, your report has been approved. EMS. Director? Gaither.
For the month of November, we had a total of 3,506 911 calls, 8 hospital transfers, response time of 7 minutes and 1 second. We collected $995,767. And then the bottom of that page is the maintenance costs and the miles driven for the month, some in-service training and special event standbys. The convalescent division did 421 calls, collected $147,260. And then the next few pages is kind of that more in detailed report. And we did add on the last page of that the units that were going to the north end to cover. I think it was 40 times for the month. I don't know if those are just standby coverages or calls. We haven't figured out how to pull that data out, but that's kind of in there. And then that's my report.
I enjoyed looking at the zip code numbers you got there. That tells you a little bit too.
Kind of interesting, and also the call per truck. Over the past 3 or 4 months, the station out on Fortress has consistently been the busiest truck.
Commissioner Beverly?
Mr. Chair, thank you. Thank you for these numbers, and I think I told you when this happened I'd bring it up. You guys are running all over the place, but I want to bring it to the committee's attention when we start talking about budget items for next year. I had a case in Smyrna earlier this month, waited over 25 minutes for an ambulance. And it wasn't because nobody showed up for work, or it wasn't because a truck was broke down. It was because every truck on the north end of the county was tied up. And the closest one was coming from Salem Highway. I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't want that to be my loved one waiting that long for an ambulance in 2023 in Rutherford County. So when we seek to see what our priorities are in the next year, I really want you to think about this as a reality that some of our citizens are living with, is that if they dial 911, it's over 25 minutes for an ambulance to show up.
Thank you, Commissioner. I believe Commissioner Oliver, did you have a?
Yes, sir, I did. Question. I was noticing your community services, it relates to first aid and CPR classes. Are those classes associated with a fee?
Some of them are, and some of them are not. It depends on who we're doing it for. Our public relations person, they do a lot of first aid and CPR training different places, and they donate money to us, and that's part of sometimes the budgetary things where we receive those donations. So it's kind of by donation, but as far as we looked into it prior to COVID, we were going to kind of take our education department and put a fee and see if we could generate some revenue, but then COVID happened and we stayed pretty busy just educating our in-house people.
Commissioner Beverly, I know what you're mentioning there. Every time I go by that one out at Rockvale, they're not there. They're not in that station. They're on the road somewhere. And, you know, that was one thing we said about these new stations and where they are located. More than likely, they're not going out, they're going in to the city area and picking up, going that way and making their calls, a lot of them. And that one out there, I mean, it's just not there. It's out of that station all the time. So whoever draws that duty and that shift out there, it's not the rest, I can tell you that.
In my district, it makes me worry about the ones, if Stones River Station is busy, that are out Squire Hall or Fosterville. It's a long ride back to St. Thomas Rutherford, and it's a long way out there to begin with.
Other questions?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, report has been approved.
One more thing I wanted to bring to your attention, speaking of the coming budget. Currently, we have 6 positions that are not filled. I received a resignation yesterday, day before yesterday, going to a neighboring county and getting a $24,000 a year raise. And it's just hard to compete with those type figures. And I mean, I understood exactly where they were coming from, and I wished them luck and said if they don't like it, call us back. But, you know, we're very busy, and that works well for a while because they want to gain that experience. But once they've been in it a little while, not as interested in running all those calls, especially, you know, $24,000 a year. That's some life-changing money for them and their families. So just something I wanted to mention to you as we head into the budget season, and you may or may not see those type things from us through HR.
Thank you, sir. Fire and Rescue Report. Larry Farley.
Took the liberty tonight before y'all got here to I laid a document on your desk. I'll call it alternative funding for the fire department because there were some comments made one night that the media took off with it and everybody's going to initiate that tax and this tax. So that's an alternative to what we're using, and I hope that's information that Chairman Phillips was asking for, but hopefully that'll give you the information you're looking for. For the month of November, we ran 864 calls, 9 structure fires, 82 MVAs, and 410 medical calls. Year to date, we have responded to 80 fires, structure fires, 58 motor vehicle fires, 822 MVAs, 29 of those involved entrapments. We've run 3,665 medical calls year to date. Well, to the next document is what I give to the County Codes Department of structures that were damaged by fire, residential homes. Next document shows the countywide response with the 96 structure fires, 183 brush fires. That's from the dry spell we had this year. We had, and if you look at 183 illegal burns, a lot of that was just people burning that got out of hand, and they were cited for it. We had 92 vehicle fires, 1,300 MVAs, 29 with extrication, and we ran 3,740 medical calls, and 8,760 total calls for the county. Next document is the Fire Marshal's report, and I think year to date, the Fire Marshal's office has prosecuted or charged at least 8 people with arson across the county. So they're doing a very diligent job of investigating every fire and determining what the cause and origin is. Put 5 fire alarms up for the month. And the last 2 pages is just is our documents of illegal burns. And of course, with the dry spell like it was, it was very busy doing that. In fact, it's 3 pages of it. And that concludes my report.
Commissioners? Questions for the chief? Commissioner James.
Chief, I'm looking at it, and I was looking at one of the numbers, line 32 on where's the line? The emergency medical service incidents is by far the largest number, 3,665 on there, and then right below that is the dispatch and canceled en route is 2,072. Overall, those are the largest 2 numbers. I'm wondering if, as Mr. Beverly had mentioned before, if we built up the EMS side and the ambulance service, how much of those numbers could we see potentially drop in that call from your side? Obviously raise on that side, but help with the wear and tear on your equipment.
All those dispatch and cancel en route could be a fire alarm where we're dispatched or a number of calls. They're not, all those canceled are not medical calls.
No, not the cancel. I'm talking about with the emergency medical service, because I'm sure when somebody's on scene with that one, the others are not, the apparatus isn't needed. And so I'm just saying those two being the largest numbers, but mostly focusing on the EMS incidents. If our EMS division were increased or ramped up to the level that was previously suggested or something, would that help in that numbers and help in the wear and tear of your vehicles, or would fire still have to be on these calls?
We got more EMS trucks on the road. It's going to affect, because basically we respond. We're beneficial if an ambulance, like at Rockville, if that ambulance is out of station and we get a medical call, it's in that territory, we're providing medical care until EMS can get there. So, yeah, I think the more ambulances you have, the better it's going to be for everybody as far as medical calls.
It felt like the answer was kind of obvious, but I wanted just to
And I think
make sure I wasn't just
it would
overthinking.
probably decline on us, because the more ambulances there are, then the less we'd have to help out.
Unless anybody else got any questions, I move to approve your report.
Have a motion to approve. Have a second. Any other comments? If not, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed?
Thank you. And
Has been approved.
thank you, and I hope every one of you have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, before we move on off the fire subject, I wanted to point out that at the end of the month, on December 31st, Las Casas is closing their doors, and I wanted to have, at least from this commissioner's viewpoint, to show my appreciation to a volunteer fire service that has been in service for 49 years. And I wanted to at this body at this time, and we're so close to the end day for them, and let the community know that they're going to be in good hands with Chief Farley and our service. But it's always sad to see something of that long, 49 years, to be done. And I just wanted to say to them and that community out there, we thank you for the service that y'all created for us, and you allowed us to get to this point. So,
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I could comment on the report that you have in front of you. This is what we've been talking about the last couple of months. It's a really detailed report, and if you'll look at page 5, it's got the fire taxes that are implemented in Bradley County, Cheatham County, and Shelby County. That's all the information that the Budget Committee will need to consider alternative funding, and I would recommend that that there would be a motion come out of this to forward this report on to the Budget Committee without a recommendation.
Okay. Commissioners, do you want to send that on to the Budget Committee?
Chairman, I move that we move this forward to the Budget Committee without recommendation as of now.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Further discussion?
Maybe I'm confused. If we're not making a recommendation, why do we need to approve it to send to them if it's just for reference? I guess nobody made a motion to or approved to send it to us, I guess.
It's primarily just a study, is what you're saying. It's just information for them to use and further, when they get ready to work on the budget, which you actually received information at the last commission meeting that they're going to start that all the way back this coming month in January. They're beginning the budget process. So this is information that Chairman Phillips has asked us for, and we're just sending it on for their information that has been accumulated.
Maybe I should reword that we send this on with no vote, but our blessings. I made the motion because
I don't know if you're blessing. You're basically sending it in to them for reference to use in the budget process.
made the motion because Chairman Phillips is our chairman. That was his recommendation, so that's why I made the motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I look at this situation right now as it would be us saying, or us beginning the process of however this might turn out, whether it turns out creating a new tax, whether it turns out for information. We're out there, they can grab the information from the fire chief if they'd like, but I personally will be a no vote on this motion with the concept that I don't want to start the process of creating a new tax for our county.
Chairman?
For the dozenth time, our job in this committee was to take a look at what a fire tax would look like, forward that information on the budget without any recommendation. If you want to put a negative recommendation on that, I'll support that.
It's for reference only, correct?
Exactly right.
Okay. We're far and gone with for reference only. Will that work all right, Commissioner Rather?
That'll be fine. It got here because Chief Farley brings his information and reports to us. He don't go to budget, maybe every now and then, is that correct? He may sit there, I don't know, or watch it, but it comes here first.
He accumulated the information as requested, and that's what this is.
Yes, for the umpteenth time.
All right. Any other discussion? We're presenting a motion to sending it on to budget for reference as requested of the chief. Any further discussion? Madam Secretary, I'm going to ask for a voice vote if you don't mind.
Not at all. Commissioner Beverly? Yes. Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
No.
Commissioner Rather? Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Motion passes.
It is being sent on. Okay, let's move down to the Sheriff's Office report. Vince, and I believe you have a budget amendment.
Good evening. Our population, the inmate population this afternoon was 818, one of those being in the hospital. School resource officers had 30 children to participate in the Shop with the Sheriff this year. We held that Saturday, December the 9th. That's the end of my report, sir.
Second.
Motion to approve the report and a second. Further discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, your report has been approved. I believe you have a budget amendment.
Yes, sir. This is to recognize revenue and expenditures for the new award, the financial year 2023 Bureau of Justice Assistance State Criminal Aliens Assistance Grant Award for construction and building improvements to the Adult Detention Center. Plan on using the funds to replace door control electronic boards for the cell blocks. Asking to receive $46,070 and applying it to our building improvements line item. This is a reimbursement for undocumented persons incarcerated in our jail.
Questions, anyone? Questions or motions? Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second. Commissioner Sereno, further discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye. Well, we need to vote on this. This is money. Sorry.
Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather? Commissioner Rather? Thank you. Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Commissioner Beverly? Yes. Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas.
Chief Smith, I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how I should say this. I guess my condolences too. You all lost a K-9 last month. I think I saw on the news.
Yes, sir. And that was actually when I retired.
Oh, okay.
Cadence, we had retired him a couple months ago, but yeah, he did pass away.
Okay, gotcha. I just wanted to, I don't know, just condolences on that. So
Thank you, sir. I
know
appreciate it.
I know pets are part of the families.
They're part of our
and they're
families.
very critical to what you all do on a daily basis. So
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. All right, pause. Director Gregory?
For the month of November, we had 382 animals come into the shelter. We had a euthanasia rate of 2.9%, a live release rate for our dogs of 92.3%, cats were 95.2%, and overall, when wildlife are included, 88.9%. We had 201 animals that came through our surgery programs and 59 cats that went out through our TNR program. Our officers completed 1,263 calls for the month, traveling 8,825 miles. Fiscal year to date, live release rate of 92.1%. Officers completed 6,333 calls, traveling 44,062 miles. The rabies exposure and bite report, we had 29 animals that were involved in bites. None of those were sent for testing. We had 6 other exposures. None of those were sent for testing as well. And then the last page of the report is just the graph that I give you visually for the.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions, comments, or a motion? Motion approved, and a second. Commissioner McMurray. Further discussion?
I did have a question.
Okay.
Just on your bite report where you said the bat is unsatisfactory, I just wanted to find out, does that mean they did not get a positive or negative, or?
That means usually an unsatisfactory report means there's not enough material there for them to be able to test
Not
the
enough
animal.
to test,
And
okay.
especially with bats, that can be fairly common. That was, well, I see the date of exposure being June.
Yeah.
So you have to start thinking about warmer weather, and you have to test brain material on that. So not much there to start with the bat, and then depending upon how long it had been deceased out in the heat before we were notified, it's in.
All right, thanks.
Any more questions? If not, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, the report has been approved.
Have a good night.
Thank you, sir. OSHA? Ed Elam comes forward. Good evening.
Chairman Reed, Madam Secretary. Having a good night. The OSHA report for November 2023. The total incidences, 16. Incident frequency calendar year to date, 217. Total recordable, 158. Lost days claims, 30. Restricted day claims, 101. Other recordables, 27. On the job injuries, you'll see for 2023, 201. I will go back to 2019, as I've done several meetings before. 2019 was 247. The on-the-job injury incurred dollars for 2023 year-to-date, $764,000. And your cause of injuries, Board of Ed had 13. County General had 3. Of the County General, 1 in the Sheriff's Department, 1 in EMS, 1 in Fire and Rescue. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Sir, any questions on the report?
Director Elam, did you have a cost incurred for 2019 compared to 2023?
$475,000. But what I will point out is in 2019, on the cost incurred, they changed how they were doing the incurred dollars, and they did, so in that year, you had a lower amount, and then they increased it based on additional inflation costs and stuff like that. So when you start comparing 2019 as far as incurred dollars, like, I'll give you an example, somebody has a back injury. Well, they would automatically say, well, for this back injury, we'll put a incurred dollars 10,000. Well, in 2020, what they did was they moved it and they started increasing all of those, which you would put down as an incurred dollar. Now, on the incurred dollars that you have, it's just an estimate of what they feel like the claim is going to be. And a lot of times it's less. And on the 266 report, you'll see that a lot of times that it's less than what they anticipated. Part of that is, and I'll brag on my team a minute, is we work very hard to make sure in those incurred dollars that someone gets an MRI as quickly as possible. They're not sitting at home for 2 or 3 weeks waiting to get taken care of. So the incurred dollars is most of the time a formula by the third-party administrator that's blanket wide. But I think you'll see on our incurred dollars, it's usually, in the actual dollars later on, it's usually less.
So in 2019, there were more injuries but less incurred costs because of the formula that they use related to incur. I understand now.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Other questions or a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And a second. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? It is approved.
Mr. Chairman.
Chairman Phillips.
Before Ed gets into his Merry Christmas, and I know he's going to do it, just so everyone will know, the county's doing, in my mind, a really good job as far as investigating accidents and injuries and trying to implement processes that's going to prevent repetitive injuries. Just wanted to ask the question, Ed. 13 from the school board, 3 in county general. What information are you getting back from the school board as far as their investigative process and what they're putting in place to try to prevent those accidents? Are you getting that information that you think that you need?
Yes, and I've mentioned before with the maintenance department, we work hand in hand with them. We communicate with them. They help us get video, and that's one thing we look to see is if there was an injury on the video was the wet floor sign out, does there need to be additional training through the environmental people in the schools and stuff like that. So, naturally the schools with, total 75 to 80%, you would see more claims. And then I'll also say, and I don't want to violate any HIPAA violations here, but to your point, you and I both have that safety background, and there are some things that you can have occur, and this month was one of those, that no matter how much training that you have with first responders and what they have to do, putting forth their best effort and doing their job, whether walking into a burning building and they have all the training in the world, but there's some elements that you get into that just unfortunately leads to injuries no matter how much training that you have. And in the school system, to talk about them for just a minute, you have some, and you can have a child elope from a school, and you have your employees that are doing their best to get to that child and try to take care of it before there's any other consequences of injury or something like that. And no matter how much training you've got, you're not, there will be some injuries because of people really putting themselves on the line to take care of things.
Okay, sir. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Y'all have a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
All right, other business that should come before us.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion to approve his report. Did we do that? I thought we
We
did that
did it.
right over here with these two. You didn't get that one?
Janto was the
Okay.
motion, I was the second.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Yes, sir?
I wanted to ask if, in the future, when our meeting date changes, if we can have a little bit quicker communication on that. I don't know about the rest of you. I have to play catch-up. This month was really backed up on us, and I watch all the videos and play catch-up on the meetings. But until I got the agenda from Rachel in the email, I wasn't aware, and I thought the date was a typo. So it kind of threw me off, and that's part of my tardiness today, was trying to squash everything together to get in here. I didn't get any kind of communication as far as when it was until I did play catch up and watch the steering video that was done then. I just want to ask that we can probably work a little better as a whole to let each other know some of these things, because some of us have to play catch up with these meetings and videos because we don't sit on all these committee meetings. Like two of us here do sit on that meeting and had it. What if the automatic date that was selected didn't work for us to even have a quorum, where we couldn't, people were going out of town this time of year or so forth? I don't know what the alternative would have been, but I would appreciate some kind of a little bit better pull through or something, and I in turn will give that better. Like tonight, I should have texted you or messaged you to say that I was going to be running late because of the traffic flow to get up here and everything, but you know, I don't text and drive when I can help it. But that does kind of add up a little bit of frustration to the moment, especially this time of year, and I think we can do a little extra on that, in my opinion. I just wanted to ask of that.
Mr. James, we'll try to do that when we have that information and it comes that way, but you must understand, when we were trying to plan this one this time, it was changing on us quicker than I can change my shoes. I mean, it was changing so fast on us. And finally, when it got down to it, we didn't have control of the meeting that was taking place of our meeting. And finally, when it come about and we got that, we had to make that change fast to move it to Wednesday, because there were other people wanting this date too. So we did that, and I probably should have contacted you earlier. That's not going to happen that often, but in the future we will. Whenever we get that, we'll try our best to notify everybody as quick as we can. We did mention it in steering that we were making those changes that time, and I should have notified you at that time, and I apologize. And we'll try to do that faster.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I also think it was mentioned last Thursday at County Commission meeting, I think.
It was mentioned at the County Commission
No,
meeting.
and I'd seen the steering by then and so forth, and was making the adjustments. I was just thinking moving forward, because we have, this past year, we've had a couple grants that came through after our meeting, and we need to, you know, via email or text.
Well, those right there, we can't control. That's controlled by the state of Tennessee when they send their dates in.
I'm not arguing that. I was just thinking that when we can get ahead of the communication, we should do the extras.
We will.
Just mention
We
that.
will when we can.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Anything else? If not, hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.